And I know that most of you have spent at least some time in a school at some point in your life. Maybe you have kids in school now, maybe you're in school now. But if you have ever met a school principal or other leadership at the school you were associated with that frankly looked like they were working a lot of hours for the amount of money that they were being paid, I know that I have at my kids' school. It is amazing how hard teachers and school leaders work for our kids. It is an around-the-clock job, and no one knows that better than my first guest. I'm going to bring out Kelly Robeck onto the red carpet. I'm so excited for you to meet her. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm excited to talk about your book, The Empowered Principal, The School Leader's Alternative Career Burnout. So burnout in schools was bad when I was in schools 30 years ago. Now with all of the testing and regulations, and it just seems like an impossible and thankless job. How did you come to write this book?
Wow, that's a great question. I was a teacher for about 15 years, and I thought that job was hard. But when I went into school leadership, wow, was I disillusioned at how much work it was and the difference between teaching children and teaching adults. So I was very overwhelmed, confused, frustrated, and quite frankly, I just wasn't happy in the position, but I couldn't figure out a way to get happy. So I researched tools, and I found there's a lot of strategies out there for the how-tos, the skill sets that a leader needs, but there was not the emotional resiliency and emotional awareness available and support. I needed the support, and so after years of being a school principal and a district administrator, I decided that it was my calling to create that support for school leaders.
It's amazing that, I guess we spend so much time on core curriculum and regulations and understanding policies. What are they doing on all those parent-teacher days?
Working.
I was imagining everybody's, doing each other's hair and nails and a little pampering. No, there's not a lot of pampering.
No, there's barely time to use the restroom. So what we do is, as a school leader, we're in meetings. We are dealing with parents. We're dealing with the staff issues, with children issues, with student test scores, with the district, with the board, the school board, the community, the neighbors, all of that is falls upon the school leader, and it's that person's job to try and balance and maintain that, which typically means you're working endless hours and you're wondering what is left of life by the time you get
And you're
home.
supposed to show up to every school activity and smile and shake hands
yes,
too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I did see that memo. I noticed that was one of the job requirements. And I have to say, personally, I was always irritated when I would go to an event and the principal wasn't there. I'm like, she couldn't even come to this one event. What? Yeah. So I know everybody's thinking that, and there's an event every night. And it seems like there is probably no career where burnout would be higher, and kids, and it's important, and parents, and the pressure, and then the school districts and the policymakers and teachers have been dragged into politics.
Yes, absolutely.
So what is one tip or technique or tool? What's one little nugget that readers of The Empowered Principal will learn?
They will learn how to manage their time and balance their time and think about time in a way that serves them versus letting time control them and have the job control them. So I look forward to helping people understand that they can take back control of their time in their work and their personal life.
It's amazing and so important. So listen, I'm going to ask some questions from you guys to Angela in a second. But before I do, I want you to think of one person who who is in school leadership. Maybe that is a teacher, maybe it's a principal, maybe it's somebody who works at the main office. But there is someone from your kids' school or from back when you were in school. Send this link to them. If that is not you, send this link to them, because this is a message that needs to get to school leaders. So with that, I'm going to pick a question from our audience for you. And I want to, let's talk about Catherine with a K from California asks, what part of the process, that is your home state?
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad I picked a question from California.
Okay.
What part of the process was hardest for you personally, and why?
I would say the time management, interestingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
Funny. So the time management for me was a challenge because I had some personal life circumstances pop up.
Now, do you have a full-time job separate from the business associated with this book, or is this your full-time thing?
It is my full-time career as of this year.
Big. That's awesome. That is a big adjustment. Yes.
Yes, I made the change. So managing circumstances will happen in your life. So no matter when you think a good time is to write the book, you just need to do it because things will pop up. And so the tool that I used was I gave myself a certain amount of time, and that was it. So if it was 2 hours or 3 hours, that was all I had to finish that chapter. And I just did that day by day by day until the book was done.
Yeah, I think that's really the key. And it's a related question, but I just want to chat with you if this came up. Alicia asks, how do I avoid editing while I write? It keeps me from moving forward and I lose focus. So Alicia, I think this is the same tip that we gave to Catherine, just in terms of time management. So my rule, did you ever have to employ my rule? My rule is keep writing forward.
Yes.
Don't go back and edit. Did that come up for you?
I did that all the time. I had to tell myself, stop, we're moving forward. And that worked for me.
Yeah, because your brain's going to want to go back and edit. And the problem with editing while you get that first draft done is that then you don't end up finishing the first draft because you're still editing and re-editing the first chapter and then the second chapter.
Yes.
So when you got to the end of the first draft, which is an incredible milestone, most people do not make it to, did you find that doing all of the editing after was easier than doing it along the way? Or did you find that it was like harder to go back and edit and you didn't remember?
It was so much easier to write forward and then edit at the end. I loved the editing process, to be honest with you. You do find yourself getting sucked in, but if you can remind yourself to write forward, the editing process becomes magic, and it will be so much more clear afterwards than when you're stuck in it. So give yourself some space from the writing and edit at the end. It makes it go so much more quickly.
So magical. Who is your editor? We should do a shout out.
Anna, amazing. I have to shout out to Anna. I loved her.
We will change your name, Anna. Anna, amazing.
Yes.
Because you are amazing. Thank you, Anna. I want to show everyone your book. This is Angela Kelly Robeck's The Empowered Principal, the school leader's alternative to career burnout. So go ahead and get this copy and share it with someone. Angela, congratulations on your book.
Thank you.